What's going on? Welcome to your journey into buying a franchise and exploring the restaurant industry. Whether owning a restaurant brand makes sense for you, we are going to go through that process on this video today. Two things, resources for you. If you go to 1851franchise.com and click how to buy a franchise, it's in the navigation. There'll be a drop down. There's two things that are valuable for you as a prospective franchisee. One is the How to Buy a Franchise Masterclass. It is a free masterclass. There's a great workbook in there that will help you walk through the steps of whether franchising makes sense for you or not. And then the second thing is obviously the Growth Club, which is the landing page that you've landed on, hopefully here, or you've found this video on YouTube. And within the Growth Club, we are here to help coach you into the franchise opportunity that makes sense for you. Our point of differentiation ends up being the transparency that we provide you, the franchisee, as you go down the journey of finding the franchise that makes most sense for you. So you're considering buying a franchise in the restaurant space. Now, there's a few things that are critical to this. One is most buyers into the restaurant business have restaurant experience. That means you were a GM or you were a manager or you worked in a restaurant, because when you're in the service industry, you're really in customer service more than anything, and ensuring that the product that the customer orders actually makes it all the way to them. There's something about operating a restaurant, that skill set, that makes a big difference when you're getting into a restaurant. You also understand labor relations a little bit more, the operations, the food, supply chain management, and all the variations of business that go against it. Now, there are some businesses, some restaurant businesses that require a little bit less out of the operator. If you look at the better breakfast segment that has exploded in recent times, call it 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., really a single shift type business. Those have changed the way that a restaurant brand behaves, but you have to look at it as how does this compare or relate back to the investment that you're trying to make. When we break down what is the value of a business opportunity, we do it in a few things. One, we start with what are your goals? I think this is an important part of your process into buying a restaurant. What is your goal? Are you looking to have one community restaurant that you really are the hero restaurant in your community? Are you looking to become a multi-unit operator, meaning you're going to scale your business? Are you doing this because you want to build some legacy and you're okay waiting a little bit longer before you hit a return on investment? These are some questions that you're going to want to work through so that when you look at the restaurant that makes most sense for you, you can align your goals back to what the possibilities are of that restaurant brand. I've seen a lot of franchisees get into the restaurant space with a tool, a lack of a tool that I think is very important, which is my rule of three. You need to be able to afford to buy one, have the cash to get into one. There's plenty of financing options. Back of the napkin is 20% cash down, secure the rest in investment or in loans. Have enough for restaurant two and have enough for a rainy day. The reality is, in the restaurant business, you can see large gross dollars. How much will that restaurant make? Sometimes the margins are a little bit tighter on the bottom line. How much cash will drop into your pocket? And then obviously you have to think through all the other elements that go into operating a restaurant. How much time you want to put against this, how much you want to invest in the staff, do you want a general manager, et cetera. So figuring out your goals. And again, in my opinion, looking at a rule of three, if the restaurant costs $500,000, you're looking at a total investment of $1.5 million so that you can have the cash on hand to give you the best shot of success. Space, a candidate will beeline it, go straight to the brand that they're a fan of, which I do like. I do like the concept of being passionate about a concept. There are many brands where the experience was so memorable that I want to buy into that business. And therefore, the point of differentiation doesn't matter as much. But if I'm advising, I say, figure out a brand or a few brands that you like, and then look at the competitive landscape in that space to start answering some of your questions. What's the cost to get in? How much I can make? What does the support look like? True support from the tech stack to the way we're going to get product in, to not them operating or managing your HR, but giving you tools to win in labor relations. So you start looking at the level of support and the marketing that's behind it. That's going to be important. You're going to look at market availability. Again, most people that get into this business want to scale it. So can I continue to grow in the market that I'm building in? And validation ends up being a critical part of the franchise buying process. I have looked at many franchise opportunities over my 20 years in franchising. I have never bought a franchise. I've gotten close on a few that I was interested in as more of a passive investment. And I will tell you at the finish line, the question that tripped me up and made me say this is not right for me is I asked the franchisees, current franchisees, would you do this again? And if I sense hesitation in their answer, it helps coach me into whether that's the opportunity that I would be willing to invest in or not. And so part of these things, what are your goals, point of differentiation, cost to get in, how much I can make, the support and marketing, what's the market availability and validation are the business construct of what I'm looking at. Above all, I'm looking at the culture fit. So we've talked with many franchise owners over the years, thousands, and we've asked what pushes you over the edge, and it's just the business model and it's the culture. And those two things need to align. Now, if you're going to progress forward and inquire to a restaurant brand, you fill out that form on the website. Remember, this is a two-way street. This is not them just selling you something. You have to sell yourself on why you will fit. You're going to have to show your restaurant experience. You're going to have to show culture fit. You're going to have to show that you have the financial bandwidth. You're going to have to show that you have a vision yourself on what you want to accomplish, because the franchisor can very easily say no to you. The better franchisors will say no if you are not showing your best foot forward. So you fill out that form, don't ghost the franchisor or don't ghost Growth Club. Like, get ingrained in that process and communicate properly. It's going to be valuable back to how you buy that restaurant. Now, last thing I'll talk about is real estate when it comes to a restaurant brand. Once you sign, you typically start looking at real estate. Some brands encourage you to come to the table with an idea of where you want to open first. I would start looking in your community as a part of your process. You fill out that form, you start looking at a franchise, like start looking at the best opportunity that you could plant your restaurant. Two quick stories here. One, there's a coffee brand that I've spoken about on some of our podcasts that they selected real estate that was a little bit cheaper. It was on the PM side of the street, not the AM side. And therefore, cars had to turn left in and then sit in traffic for a cup of coffee versus staying on the road or going to a fast food restaurant to get their cup of coffee. That hurt that location. Location ends up being critical. I also have a friend who operated a yogurt brand and a bubble tea franchise in Chicago. And I walked to both of them with a former multi-unit operator, looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly. Frozen yogurt brand in a tremendous spot, paid more on real estate, more closer to Main and Main, did tremendous volumes for frozen yogurt. Bubble tea, lower investment on the real estate, lower lease, other side of the street, a little bit further away from Main and Main, didn't make it. Sometimes that's a part of the magic of whether a restaurant brand will work or not. You're looking at the built-in foot traffic and how is that going to relate back to your success as a restaurant operator. All of this can be found, obviously, details within our website if you go to the Growth Club website. But we're here to help you if you're interested in having a coach help you along the way to discovering what restaurant brand makes most sense for you, and then aligning their potential financials back to what your goals are. Growth Club's here for you. Make sure to go to 1851franchise.com, watch our masterclass. It will help you in your journey to becoming a franchisee, and we look forward to hearing it. Like, once you become a franchise owner, be sure to reach out, period, so that we can interview you on one of our podcasts. And best of luck in your process of becoming a franchisee in the restaurant space.